Sambatskano Mongol Truth, and welcome to Talk With Me.
Oidov Vaanchig is the CEO and founder of Retus, a Mongolian company that serves and sells rehabilitation and daily living aid. The company has the goal of empowering and providing safety and independence to the elderly and people with disabilities in Mongolia. He is also a passionate advocate for Mongolians with disabilities.
Дийлигийн тавилга таны амьдралыг хөглөн.
Oidov Vaanchig, welcome to you, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you,
coming on the
Alison.
show today. I want to explore many things about your life, your passions, your business, perhaps a bit about your family. But first, Oidov, tell me a little bit about this genetic condition you're afflicted with.
My disease or genetic condition is called arthrogryposis. Arthrogryposis, it's not like a genetic, honestly saying. It's nobody knows where it came from. But somehow 0.1% of the population somehow affected with this disease.
I've read it's very rare.
It's very rare, but still I can see, I know some communities overseas in Mongolia about this, who are affected with this disease.
I did a bit of research. It actually has a Greek meaning, curving of the bones.
The child is born with the curved joints. Like the good is that the brain is definitely not curved, but the joints curved. And it's very physical disease. It doesn't have any progressive effects. So when I say not progressive, it means it will not get worse on the age. But you just need to do certain treatments when you're a child. And I was born with this disease, but fortunately I had a good parents who were medical doctors, and they invested in me a lot to cure me.
Oidov, you were born in the Gobi Desert. Is this correct?
Not kind of desert. I wouldn't say desert. But it's. I was born in Dalton. Yes, Mongolia. When you say Gobi Desert, it sounds like a hey.
Hey, out in the dunes.
Yeah.
Did you say before that both of your parents were doctors?
They are doctors. My mom is pediatrician, and my dad is. I used to work in different fields, surgery, internal organs, and different.
Tell me about the story about your
Well,
treatment later
first,
on in childhood.
I was born in the beginning of 80s, right? And by that time, not a lot of people knew about my disease. But because my parents were doctors, they approached the teachers, lecturers at the university and asked like, what is that? And they started exploring. But let's imagine if there are parents who have no clue about medicine, what they would do. They would try to do some treatments, but might be very basic treatments. And my parents used all their resources because they already had step in the medical sphere in Mongolia, so they knew where it's come from and what come. And so they approached the lecturers, and they said like, well, the best treatment is in Russia. We can do just very basic surgeries for this kid, but you could go back to Russia to make a treatment for this kid. The good news is that the boy would be hopefully enough smart, would be enough capable to support himself once his joints or limbs would work efficiently. So my dad took me to Russia, and I was living in Russia for a while for the medical treatment. Overall, this medical process treating my limbs and joints, it's continued from my 6 months old up to the 17 years old. The last was in LA.
The parents are often blamed when kids are born with disabilities.
That's very common, not only in Mongolia and other parts of the world as well.
Yeah. More so Mongolia, though, do you think? I mean, do you think Mongolians are more suspicious about this?
I mean, our religion is also supporting this kind of thinking, because if you do something wrong, it's been like from your past life, or if you do something wrong, and it could affect your future. So mostly people understand that if you're born with a disability, it's somehow because of your past, or because of your parents did something wrong, but that's not true. Which is, I hopefully a lot of people who are watching these TVs would be aware.
Yes, yes.
It's just like a certain. It's like you're born with the blonde hair.
Oh, I wasn't. This is fake. I had to change it.
Yes, I'm born with this difference in my physical situation. That's the same.
Yeah. Oidov, tell me a little bit about your time in America. You went to Children's Hospital in Los Angeles after Russia, and you also studied in America. Tell me a little bit about this time in the U.S.
It was very lucky moment for me, because once my dad actually got known that there's some doctors who are visiting Gobi. We catch those doctors, and we talked about. My dad showed me to the doctors and said, "We have this boy. We're doing all our best to help him." The doctors looked at me, examined me, and then they left. They didn't give me us any promise. Right. But then half a year later, they wrote a letter saying that we would like to invite you to the LA.
Wow.
And I was treated in Shriners Hospital. You know, the Shriners is the only free hospital between the 3 states. So I was in LA for about 10 months. And during that time, I mean, I couldn't use this time better than studying English.
Yeah.
So
you made the most of it. Years later, you went to Zurich, Switzerland, to study international business. Tell me a little bit about why you studied international business.
I mean, it took about nearly 2001, 2013, so nearly 10 years until I started studying something again. During that time, I worked in a business as a manager. Then
in Switzerland?
No, in Mongolia. I came to Mongolia and started working in the business field, then non-government field.
Right.
For the Mercy Corps.
Right. Now I've got it. So you were in LA, came back to Mongolia.
Yes.
Did your time at Mercy Corps, which I actually want to talk about, and then went to Switzerland.
Yes,
so let's backtrack a little bit. Tell me about your time with Mercy Corps. And why? Why did you work for Mercy Corps?
Why Mercy Corps? When I was working for just a small company, for small, but the first company for the personal security and bodyguarding service in Mongolia. I used to work there as a manager. During that official work, I used to also working as a co-founder of the NGO, which was supporting distribution of the different aids to Mongolia, especially in countryside.
Right.
Somehow I had some certain passion to be more close to the community and do better impact on the community, not just onto my pocket. So I was thinking what could be the best place. And the second reason is I was looking for a certain opportunity to get more knowledge on Western concept of management. Now I wanted to be surrounded by this air, by this environment to learn this. And one of the best places was Mercy Corps. Right. I applied twice to Mercy Corps. The first time I didn't I failed. And the second time I was successful, and I was working with the Mercy Corps for 4 years. I was coordinating projects in countryside on civil society field, and later on for disabilities.
Right. Oidov, just backtracking again, you were saying that you preferred Western style management to perhaps Mongolian style management. Is there a difference? Can you explain it?
Yes, definitely difference.
Tell me, because I noticed this and I hear people talking about it. Tell me about your observations. I mean, what are the differences?
Well, overall, people are very much driven by their values. And as you know, we have different values, East and the West part of the globe. So the management style surely is different, because all the management styles somehow based on 3 levels, like a valley, and then how it's come to the reality, which is called, let me see, attributions, behavior, and core values. That's the ABC. It's called ABC concept of the culture. So we're driven by core values, and it's expressed by behaviors, and then it's shown to others through the attributions.
Well, okay. What I'm getting at is which style of management do you prefer? Which works better?
So that's, I'm getting closer to that part. What we're saying that different. I want to show that it's different anyway.
Based on values.
Look at the time. Time is, everybody says, expats especially who came first time Mongolia say, Mongolians don't take time. They're not very punctual. That's indeed true. In some, I mean, there are also some. It is true, and we have different attitude to our bosses. Let's say we have different attitude on surrounding environment. We are Asia. We're more communitaristic people, while Western is more individualistic, right? I think that's clear for everyone. So it's quite big differences, and on management level, let's say institutional level, it's a bit different as well. I mean, in a Western organization, you're given certain task, everything is clear and defined, right? That's the scope of your work, that's the scope of your actions, that's what you can do. And if you have some better idea, you always welcome to go for that. And team working is also best approach. While in Mongolian organizations, it's a bit sometimes unclear where your scope of work starts and where it does it end, right? And you have a different attitude to your bosses, because the boss could somehow also ask for you to do something which is not related with your direct working position. I can talk about this.
Fascinating. I mean, yeah, you've put a lot of things I've noticed into words. And do you run your business in a Western style way or in a Mongolian style?
It has to be both.
Both, yeah.
Because it cannot be just one side. You know.
You have to
because mix it. I cannot say just that, hey, because I studied there, I have to completely be Western, like a time, punctuality, and blah blah blah.
I think you're a good mix.
I hope so, but it's not me who should tell you that. It's other people who around me who could evaluate me about this.
Oidov, tell me about your studies in international business in Switzerland, Zurich.
Because my past experience was more close to the international environment. Living in Russia, living in the US, and then having different trips in other parts of the world, like Korea, Japan, China, UK, in other parts of the Europe. So all it's mixed up and made me a bit more open to the international environment. So so it was great opportunity for me to study in this field. And honestly saying, I felt more, how to say, more capacity on helping people to cross this bridge between not just like a physical border, but also cultural borders. So that's why I studied international business. But when I started studying there, it's completely different than what I was expecting. I was thinking like, wow, that's great. Like, if I speak language, if I know some experience, if I have some experience working with other people, that's already good experience. But it was not true. I was given a more theoretical knowledge how to deal with this kind of different people, not only with the Western or Eastern. It's just like a different people. So why it was important? It's because we had many cases. You know, Switzerland is also a very small country with a strong culture, and when you have a strong culture, you somehow also try to defend that culture from outside, right? So we had many cases when even German students who studied with me in Zurich, they had some problems with the communication with the Swiss students because
Really?
they nearly speak in the same language, right?
Yeah.
But still, they had some problems.
Yeah, so culturally different. Did you do your studies in German or
No, I did my studies in English. I had a problem with that, but you know, because like official class goes in English, but then during the teamwork or other actions, students or my team members starts speaking in Swiss Deutsch, Schweizerdeutsch, and it's first I was a bit frustrated. Then I asked them to, whenever they work with me as a team member, please don't speak German, speak in English.
Now, Oidov, you have the first and only store in UB, which is at Grand Plaz. I've been to see you. It's wonderful, and it supplies aids and I guess, I don't know, appliances for daily living, people with disabilities. And tell me about it. Tell me about the name and why you started it, and all about your business.
Very Eastern to start. When you ask something directly, you try to answer from very behind.
Do you know what? You're right. And I notice a lot of people do this.
Yes.
So is that an Eastern thing?
It's very Eastern.
So
because
I didn't know this.
We do speak very circularly.
You backtrack.
No backtrack. Just before going back to the company question, just let me give you one example. There was the two guys, okay? One was from Africa, one was from States. And one of the friends asked them, okay, can you tell me your first dating experience?
First date.
US girls show up, raised their hands, and she said, well, we met at that street and we spent a good 2 hours at that cinema theater. We then eat the ice cream, and then he kissed me before he took me to my home. And she told it within like maybe 1 or 2 minutes. And then same question to the Western guy, was a guy from Africa. He said, like, well, there was a sun was downing, there was so beautiful weather, and it was nearly some sort of raining, and there was some breeze from ocean, and it continued about like 5 to 7 minutes.
Oh, I love it.
And the guy who was listening to this answer couldn't hold it anymore and said, please tell me, what was your dating experience? And he said, that's what I'm telling you. That's my dating experience. So, yeah, that's how we speak. You ask a direct question, I'm answering very sometimes circularly.
Are you going to talk about the sunset?
No. I'm not gonna.
You can.
No.
Okay.
I too much value time to talk about sunset, about the direct
Sunsets are very important, though.
Yes. So back to company question.
I forgot what my question was.
The company question. Why I started this company and what the reason and why what I'm doing right now. So the company is just very much about bringing the concept of occupational therapy and physical therapy supports, which is very much developed in the western part of the globe. In Mongolia, we do not have these services. You do have good surgeries, you do have a certain rehab service, but you're surely missing this part when occupational therapists could help those guys who came out from the hospital to integrate back to the life, get a higher quality of life, or recompensate the skills that he lost during the treatment or because of the treatment. So I wanted to bring these services because I experienced those services in Switzerland and UK and US. So I back to Mongolia. I was thinking, okay, what should I do? Should I start working for an international company, or should I do something what I would like to do? And I said, well, I'm over 30. I think it's a time to try to take a risk. So I started my company. The company is very simple, Rechtus. It's called Rechtus. Rech, it's mean R-E-H. It's first three spellings of the rehabilitation. Tos, it's in Mongolian, it's a support, so kind of support from rehabilitation. We place it in Grand Plaza because it's one of the most accessible shopping stores in UB downtown. So, and we do supply this kind of assistive, we call it assistive devices and or aids for daily living. But one thing to correct is it's not only for people with disabilities, honestly saying. It's for a lot of people, for elders, for people who having certain dysfunction in their daily life.
Right.
And also there's a number of products which help people to get or prevent them to be injured. Let's say some
Like
bath
what?
mattresses or bath grab rails. You cannot find those products in Mongolia. That's overall about my company. I mean, the company, we do not just only supply the products. We try to also help those people to choose the right product, which is meant certain assessment.
Right.
And we do give certain consultancy, how to use and when and how they should starting learning about this.
Right.
So we do also do certain trainings on occupational therapy, because why I'm saying again occupational therapy, because I'm also local manager of the project on setting up occupational therapy profession newly in Mongolia.
You're on the Mongolian Occupational Therapy Association board. Is this a new
Yes,
role?
it is new. I and a number of my friends, we started this project from 2003 with the Swiss professionals, with the support of them, and it's continued up to this year, and only this year we were able to got the first 15 students at the HSUM, Health Science University of Mongolia, studying on bachelor level for the occupational therapy. So
That's a huge achievement.
yes, I hope it will have a nationwide impact.
Is it, this is just questions that have come into my mind, is it more difficult being disabled or having some sort of a handicap in the countryside in Mongolia than it is in UB? What's the difference between having a disability in the country as opposed to the big smoke? Is it harder or easier?
Well, it's just my personal experience and my observation. It's a bit more difficult to be born as a disabled person in countryside than in urban areas. Why? The reason is very simple. In countryside, you have more physical work, physical labor,
Right.
and it's valued for that.
Yeah.
You have to be every day be caring your cattle and your livestock and everything, right?
Right.
And in that family, every member has certain duty, certain scope of work. And it's definitely you think about that, but still it's more physical work is dominating over there. And if you have a physical challenges and you cannot do this work, you kind of feel yourself a bit, out of family.
Yes.
That's the first. While in urban areas, you have better opportunities to use your brain rather than your physical limbs. And in that case, you still can feel yourself a bit more integrated. And unfortunately now, after starting this company, I met a number of families who actually had this.
Really?
They have a very good, promising kid. They had a very promising kid with just a slide of CP, I mean cerebral palsy, in a slide of different dysfunctions, but they didn't have a courage to challenge them to go to the society.
Right,
They
right.
didn't do enough steps to integrate to the society.
Right, right.
And now,
Because of fear?
fear, shy, embarrassment, or whatever is can be called. I mean, whatever different reasons could be possible. They didn't have enough resource. I mean, not financial or human resource. Could be possible they felt that it's a bit shame that the kid is born with this kind of disease and they cannot go to school.
Right, right.
The thousands reasons could be brought on the table.
Yeah.
Well, the result is shocking. there are a number of kids with over 25 to 30 years old, nearly the same age as me, and they're not integrated to society. They usually stay at home. They just are watching what is going on around the world by TV. They don't want to communicate with other people. They do feel themselves very powerless. They don't feel themselves useful for this world. In Mongolia, we do have a certain support, but our developments are quite young, not so much developed as yours.
Right.
We just trying to replicate or even copy ADA,
Yeah.
American Disability Act. You know,
Is Mongolia making progress, do you think?
yes, we do certain progress on that. Sure, we look on ADA, we look on how certain bills, certain acts, which is there, and we learn from there. That's surely true.
Oidov, is there anything that you wish you could do that you can't do?
Wish, but I can't.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we spoke last month. I mean, I know that you have this big dream of being able to drive a car one day. Do you foresee that you will be doing this one day?
Sure, I will do that maybe in 3 years.
Why not now?
Why not now? First, because I need to have a car.
Never. Okay, apart from you don't have a car, I mean, what is the physical limitation right now in you driving a car?
I need adaptation for that
Okay.
after the car, and we don't have this technical support services in Mongolia.
Okay.
I
But
could bring.
you're working on it.
Oh yes, I tested myself in Switzerland about my ability to drive a car, and it showed positively that I can drive a car.
Okay, it's about the adaptation, and you need to get a car.
Yes.
So about 3 years.
Yes, so it's not really long term. I mean, in a few years I will be already able to do that.
Yeah.
I'm quite sure with that.
Although I know you must be told this over and over, but you're a very inspirational man, and I'm very lucky to have met you and to get to know you. And thank you for talking with me today.
Thank you for very courageous, very warm words and wishes. Maybe if I'm enough inspirational for people like you, it would be also be hopefully would give inspiration to other people as developing themselves, and that would be a role of my existence in this world, you know. But my goal is not only to be inspirational, but my goal is more try to help those people to be the next inspirational person.
Train the future generation.
Yes.
Of
Once I
people.
see the more people who would be able to study in the university in a high level, and then be able to compete with on a labor market without any discounts, without any quote, without any support, just because of your brain, then that would say me that I reached certain goals.
Yeah.
But definitely now spending my time on this TV, why I'm here is also not just because it's because I want to show myself. It's also I want to show the parents who just got their baby and they just discovered that babies somehow got certain physical disabilities, that there is certain future where they could look, and the tunnel is not just only dark. You can see certain lights at the end of the tunnel. Once
I hope people are listening. Many Mongolians are listening tonight, and the repeats and on YouTube. What you're saying is very important.
Hopefully it does.
Yeah. All right, Oidov Vaanchig, friend.
Thank you so much. You
Hey,
too.
that's all on Talk With Me today. Thank you for being with us, and I hope to see you again next week. But for now, баярстай даруулцъя.
Дийлэгийн тавилга таны амьдралыг хөглөнө.